that was the intro from a song called One More Step, which was released on the album Futronicore from my band Earthling777, quite a few years ago now. However, over the years I've had people ask me about certain aspects of the recording and how it was done, about some of the guitar parts and that sort of thing. So I kind of thought it'd be a little bit fun, a little bit interesting to break down some of the parts from the multi-track recording. You might find that of some interest. The album Futronicore was a culmination of about a year's recording between myself, John Zach on drums and Jack Z on vocals. Each of us had identical recording setups, and we would record all of our own parts in our own home studios, and then once a week we would come together in Jack's studio, and then I would consolidate all the tracks that we'd all been working on separately, and basically the result was the album Futronicore. This song, One More Step, started when I wrote it with just this opening riff that you heard it in the intro there. So now if I just isolate the guitars there, you'll be able to hear the breakdown of just the guitars by themselves. So I'll just go from the intro here. So what you can see there is actually 6 separate guitar tracks, 3 pairs of stereo. So the first ones, if I just take off some of these solos, I'll just isolate the left channel, which I've called left channel wide. Then I'll throw in the right hand side. And let's go to the next pair. So basically the first pair is just going from the F sharp down to the E. So that kind of thing. When it sort of steps in after about 4 bars, it then goes from the C sharp to the D. So like that. Then the second pair of stereo then plays it all up an octave. So it's like this. And then there's a third pair there, which is just playing same pretty much riff as the first pair, but I've got them panned a bit more close to the center. So this is the third pair. So then when we bring it all in together again, so it's quite a fat sort of wall of guitars going on there for the initial verse. Then it continues on into where the vocals start, and then I've got these 2 guitar harmonics that play. So if you have a listen to them soloed, let me just take that off and put the harmonics on. Here we go. So that's just a double-tracked harmonic on the E string. So what you're hearing there is harmonics on the low E string over the 3rd, the 4th and the 5th fret played in quick succession. So it's just literally... Okay, I've just muted them in between. Double tracked it, pan them half, hard left and right. Let's have one more listen. And then that brings us to the chorus, which is a pretty simple chorus. It's just 2 pairs, double tracked. And again, that's just going from the F sharp. Okay, so F sharp power chord, D, A, and back to the E. Okay, so it's a pretty simple progression, but what makes this chorus kind of interesting is the melody line that I play over the top. And here is the melody line with the guitars. Let me just bring those elements together. Here we go. Now I'll just isolate the melody by itself. So the interesting thing about this part is over the years I've had a few people ask me whether that was maybe a synth, or because when you hear it in with the other guitar, it's sometimes a little bit hard to know whether it's guitar, is it synth, is it a sequence or whatever. But however, how it was played was basically just tapping within the scale, which is the F minor scale on the B string. And essentially what I'm doing is, I'll just do it slowly so you can see how I'm doing. I'm basically pulling the note off here to the F sharp. So that's basically it. I haven't played it for years, so it's a little bit messy there. But essentially, it's quite an easy little progression. So again, I basically pull the B string note with my right hand from the 12th fret, and I'm on the 7th fret B string with my first finger, and I'm literally hammering on the next two notes. So basically, from there, okay, so it's 7, 9, 10. And I just basically come up and back down the scale. And then I do a slur between the 14th and the 15th fret. So I'm always doing that repeated 7, 9 and 10 on the left hand here. And then I go all the way up to the 15th and I slur up to the 17th. So it's basically hammering on with my right hand, and I sort of palm or not palm, but just tuck the plectrum into my first finger there, and I'm tapping everything with my index finger. So here we go. And I finish by tapping the 12th fret again. I'll do that slow and then I'll bring it up to speed. Okay, so that's the whole sequence. So I'll just do it a little bit faster, almost up to speed with the song. So the idea there was to get an almost robotic sequence of notes, almost like it was played on an arpeggiator on a keyboard or something like that. So with the layers underneath, it kind of sounds, kind of like a nice sort of progression, even though it's a repeating line. It works well within the actual chord changes of the rhythm. So let's hear that one more time. Okay, so that's the chorus. Now let's take it all the way to the last solo. Okay, so that was basically the solo in with everything else, but let me just play that just for the first part, just with the rhythm guitars so you can hear what's going on. Okay, so it's playing the same chord changes as the choruses. Okay, quite a simple solo, simple but effective. So let me just solo the solo by itself, solo the solo. So I'm sure you'll agree it's not the most technically difficult solo ever to be created, but for the purposes here, I think it's very effective and it conveys a feel. Now, the really cool thing about this is I've also laid this synth underneath. It's like a plucked kind of a string melody, I guess you'd call it. Just have a listen to this. So that's just basically a simple repeating melody that I created so that at certain times within the actual solo, the notes kind of cross over and create like a harmony. Okay, so let's break down what I'm doing in the solo. Now there's a couple of things to bear in mind here. Okay, so again, it's just playing the solo all on the B string and I'm sliding it around from the 7th fret. So that's the basic line. Now there's a couple of things to bear in mind here. One thing is my guitar. This is a Schecter Sun Valley Super Shredder. Now, rather than the stock pickups, I've got the Damasio Evolution in the bridge, and then I've got the Maniac Music Sustainiac in the neck position. Now what the Sustainiac does, if you're not aware, is allows you to basically hold a note and it will give you infinite sustain. So if I hold a note, so you can see that the transducer in the front here will basically set up a magnetic field that allows me just infinite sustain on whatever I'm holding. So that's one of the things that is happening in this solo. Because I'm sliding around on the B string, the Sustainiac is giving me infinite sustain and I'm able just to slide around without the note dying out. Secondly, what I'm doing is I'm using the whammy bar or the tremolo to actually create sort of rises and falls between the notes. So what I'm doing here is, and I'll just hold the note. So something like that. So essentially between the Sustainiac and the slurring of the notes using the trem is what gives it the overall feel. So let's just have a listen again to that, and I'll play it with the rhythm guitars as well as the synth underneath. And so that's the end solo section. So that pretty much breaks down all the different parts of the guitar. Now there's a lot going on in this track. As you can see, there's quite a number of tracks. There's close to 60 individual tracks that make up this whole song. And of course it would have been more had I had all the individual drum tracks. John would record all of his drums in his home studio, and then he would mix them down into a stereo track because he had a certain way that he wanted them to sound. So he would then basically give me a stereo track of the drums pre-mixed, and then I would introduce it into the actual main track here. So this is basically his stereo drums by themselves. And then he's got a few other little drum tracks that he's recorded, which has a few drum toms and a few other percussive elements that he's added as well. So then add to that the punchy bass line that I've created here. So there you have it. That's the basic breakdown of the song One More Step. If you enjoy the song, you can download it from iTunes or the Google Play Store. The links are in the description. And there's also the official video also linked in the description that you might want to check out as well. So thanks for watching. If you would like to see more of these kinds of videos, please like, subscribe and hit the notification bell, and let me know in the comments what songs you would like me to break down. So check out the album Futronicore on iTunes, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye for now.